is it going to go live? Two in a row? There's been times, when I hit the live button and it won't click over, and then I go forever, and then it doesn't say, yeah, it just switched over from starting to, yes, you're actually live. All right, Crime Stoppers. This can be Crouton Ramon or the 100th Monkey or. Uh, where to start? Let's start with this. Yeah, let's start with this right here. Um, See this? That's a silver coin. That's like the only silver coin I bought recently. Most of my silver I bought under $5 or at $5 and definitely under $10. And then I might have bought a very little bit around 20s and then I stopped buying it because after 20s it was too much. This right here, I already have two times my money. Um, what's coming is going to be much more than that because on most of my silver, I've got 10 baggers. On yesterday alone, I made 70% on the silver that I bought under $10. Well, under $5 or at $5. Think about it. If I was able to sell it at that price, and I'm pretty sure in the very near future, I'm going to be able to. Okay, here's the point of this video. The pundits don't seem to understand trillion and billion, and the fact that there is only a few billion ounces available for sale, and they don't have it. They need like 200 million ounces to fulfill orders, and they got about 50. Where are they going to get it? And then, oh, I wanted to do this. Do I have that handy? Confine it. I keep making these videos and not having my show and tell stuff handy. All right. Yes, I do. Because I guess I do. Right here. Here it is. Here's a great book. See that? I'd read this book if I was you. Get a chance to read it. You might want to use it. It's an interesting read. Okay, now the point of the interesting read is that there are. Let me do this. Oh, let's take this off. Yeah, there we go. Oops, that's too many. Let's go back a little bit. We'll just take it to right here. Between 358 and 400 pieces of paper. That's a pile of paper that thick. See that? If you had a pile of paper and all those pieces of paper have it spelled out, listen to the words I'm saying, spelled out upon those pieces of paper, those spells make you think that that piece of paper and this are the same thing, but they're not. Uh, there are 400 pieces of paper like this. That's a pile this high of paper for every one of these. And you thinking that it's going to be an orderly market and it's going to consolidate. Let me repeat that. This much paper. See all this paper? That's 400 sheets of paper right there for every one of these. Okay, maybe it's 358. So here, we'll take out like that much. Oops, a little more. Like that much. Yeah. Oops, a little more. Like that much. And what are we at? We're at, I still can't read it. Oh, maybe 20 more pages. How's that? And the survey says, okay, 358 right there. Okay, that's 358 pieces of paper that have some words on it that say, hey, you could take this to whoever it is and we'll give you some silver for it in the future. I'll maybe also a hamburger on Tuesday. What we have here is silver in my hand. And on top of that, this one I just bought it because then I think I bought two, one for me, one for Pookie. The idea is that this is a 2025 and they hardly printed any 2025s. They didn't make any 2025 coins. They printed lots of pieces of paper, but they did not print any coins. So I got two of them. But the idea is that for every one of those, there's a bunch of people that think they own some silver, but they're going to find out that it's a piece of paper. It's not a piece of silver. That's called third party risk. And all these people talking about, oh, it's going to take a pause at, no, we're going to have a disorderly market. We already had the CME shut down for 10 hours. I'm going to have some friends that spend quite a bit of time at the CME because that's their business. They have not gotten back to me, but I would like to know their take on a light trading day. The servers blew up. We couldn't keep up the heating. We had a cooling event that lasted for 10 hours that coincided directly with them getting money from the Fed at the amount of what, $24.4 billion. And then the markets opened back up. And then they used that money to start covering their positions because they can see where this is going. And it's not going anywhere but up from here. Where there'll be some pullbacks where they fuck around with the price. And see, this is the other thing. You guys all know that it was 100% bullshit that the price went down in the first place. They don't have a billion ounces. They were dumping the entire world's mine supply into the market in 4 hours at the worst possible time to try to drive the price down. So they were all sellers and no buyers. So they brought the price down until they finally got some buyers, which happened to be probably Indians and Chinese. And see, now the CME and the LBMA and the comics all realize that the silver that's going to the LBMA is ending up in China and India, and it ain't ever coming back. And then you have the military that definitely doesn't want to pay top dollar for something they're going to blow in the smithereens. But I've been told that in some of those missiles, there's a monster box of silver. And then kaboom, and there's a whole other thing with the alchemy and so forth, where they're basically putting silver on the ground in certain places. Why would they do that? But anyway, it's a pulverized, powdered silver. And every time a missile blows up, that silver we're never getting back. Every time they ship to India or China, that silver you're never going to get back. And a lot of it's going to be used up for not being turned into coins or jewelry. It's going to be turned into electronics or batteries or solar panels or God knows. And then it's going to be difficult to get that stuff back out. However, if the price goes high enough, and it will become useful to recycle, well, gainful, I should say, to recycle solar panels. But right now, it costs you more money to get the silver out than the silver is worth. But that won't last. Okay, we are headed into uncharted territory. But if you can do some math, and I need to do some math, here's a visual representation of what 300 counterclaims looks like. That's how many. That's a big pile of paper, and they'd probably be 8.5 by 11, and have all kind of cool signature and write and all kind of stuff that make spells. Yeah, that's the same thing as one of these. If I turn this in, I'll get it. I'll get my silver, won't I? No, that's a representation of silver. It is not silver. This is silver. This is paper. See, we know that the world has gone insane when a guy like me with no shirt on has to point out the obvious that a piece of paper and this are not worth the same. Now, the only time this piece of paper and that are worth the same is when you can trust them, but you can't. They've made it clear you can't trust them. And that they will print and go naked and so forth. Right? They don't even borrow the silver and then go naked. They just go naked without even having the silver in existence. Fairy dust silver. And you guys all, right? Bill Holter and Bix Weir and every fucking body knows. Oh, and this one, shit, I should have started at the very beginning with Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo sold his bags at the last peak, or he said he wanted to sell them all. Here's what's going to happen, Johnny, is one day you're going to sell your silver, and it doesn't matter how much gold and how many pieces of paper you have that say you own stock or whatever, that you can turn into other pieces of paper that say it's a Federal Reserve note. And then you're going to want to trade Federal Reserve notes for this, and all of us are going to be, no, 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 I don't want paper for my silver. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. You can see there from here. You didn't used to be able to see there from here. Right? I can see the silver market breaking. It's already, the cracks are everywhere. How high it goes, I don't know, but it's more than 200. Let's just do some math. Nominal math and actual, they have debased the currency. Try to understand, in the last 6 years, they made 80% of the currency in circulation. Put another way, 6 years ago, there was only about 20% of the paper in circulation that there is now. And it's not actually even paper, it's zeros and ones, mostly digits on a screen. But they created it 80% in the last 6 years. So this money didn't exist in 1980. This money didn't exist the last time this thing ran to 50. They have created 80% more. Go look, it's trillions. This is $1 billion market. And see, you guys think, well, trillions is 12 zeros and billions is 9 zeros. So that's just 3 zeros. And 3 is a small number. So it's not that big of a difference, right? A billion is 1,000, or excuse me, a trillion is 1,000 billion. You need 1,000 billions to make a trillion. So even if you just divided these up by a trillion and they weren't worth anything and we were just dividing and there were a billion of these, you'd need $1,000 for one. There's going to be multiple trillions of dollars finding its way into the silver market eventually. Right now, it's filtering into they made sure. Hey, look at this crypto. You can't even look at this crypto. Oh, look, it's digits on the screen. You can't hold any crypto in your hand. You can hold a piece of paper that says you own some crypto, but you can't actually own crypto in your hand because it's digital. It exists up here. It exists out there. This, you can hold it in your hand. And there's going to be a bunch of people that decide they want to hold their wealth in their hand. They want to be able to count it. They want to be able to touch it, not just look at it on a computer screen. That day is coming. That day is not here. But again, you can see that day from this day. And there aren't that many days in between this day and that day. The day is coming when this will be unobtainium. Where guys like me are like, nah, hey, I'll give you some. Nope. I'll give you two. Nope. Because you know what? This is $12 in 1980 money right now. Because 50 of our current dollars are about 12 of 1980 dollars. So you're telling me that this is worth 12 bucks, is what you're trying to tell me. A little more than 12. No, I'll call it 13 now, because it's at what, 57, 56, 56.65, or what did it close? 56.08. It closed over $56. I know that much. And even that, I can't tell. Because I go Google over here, I go Kitco over here, I go NYC over there, I go, the prices are all different. You go Hong Kong, it's always higher. Because in Hong Kong, they're like, hey, we'll give you a little extra. You want to sell your silver to us? We'll give you a little extra. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, I'll take that extra. Easy money. See, but then, now they're finding out that the arbitrage they can't really do. Even if there is a huge arbitrage, they won't be able to do it because they won't be able to get the silver and ship it to Shanghai. Because there won't be any silver to get. See, this is what I'm trying to tell people is that you can try and call the tops and bottoms of these markets and take some off the table. I may even take some off the table here in the near future. But I'm doing it with the understanding that I'm not going to buy it back for cheaper later. Now, is the market going to do this? Is it going to just go straight up? No, they never go straight up. Even in insane markets like this, where there is no silver, the commodity cannot be overbought when there isn't enough of the commodity. And this is the only commodity. Well, actually, that's not true. Platinum. Nobody's talking about platinum. I was talking about platinum at 900, and I did not capitalize. What a dork. Okay, platinum. And if you get platinum, don't get pieces of paper to buy it by the gram. You can buy it by the gram still. All right, so if you want platinum, you got to know where to get it, and you can get anywhere you can get silver. Generally, the dealers will sell you platinum by the gram, and then you got to make sure that it's certifiable and so forth, that you know that it's platinum, because there's plenty of right to make a little gram bar and make it out of a metal that looks like platinum. I can see that happening. Especially when platinum once again regains its position where it's more precious than gold by far. When I was growing up, you had a platinum card, not a gold card. A gold card was not better than a platinum card. A platinum card was way better than a gold card. Usually came with all kind of benefits and a lower interest rate and all kind of stuff. Miles and all kind of stuff. Discounts. Back in the day when they used to entice people. Now they just trap you. But the idea is silver is, yeah, it's going to the moon. And we've been saying this for 20 years. And see, this is the thing. This, I'm like up 100%, like two times, right? You buy it at 20, it's worth, or 25, it's worth 50 and more now. Oh, that's a good gain. But the ones that I bought at $5, I'm up 11 times. But it took 20 freaking years. If I had taken that money and put it in the Bitcoin or some other cryptos, yep. But now you're going to find out that those cryptos, you might want to get some of this because we're in for some interesting times and it's right around the corner. We are no longer months and years away. We are weeks and days away from finding out what do people think this is worth? Because right now, what this is worth is what bankers were telling you it was worth. And the bankers are liars, lying liars who lie. They lie about everything and they enslave you with debt. And they certainly don't want you knowing about this. So the asses that are masses still haven't piled in the silver at all. Meantime, the bankers around the world are front running you on gold and silver. In other words, they're getting there first. And then by the time your dumbass figures out that maybe I want some of this, they're happy to sell it to you. But not for $50. Not for $100. In fact, probably you guys won't pile on until it's making the news. And by then it's going to be a little late. And I'm not here yet. I have this cup for another thing, but we're not here yet. Right? 50, oh, maybe a little bit when people were saying, "Oh, it's going to go back down into the 30s." No, it wasn't. See, I thought they'd take it up 60, 70 and then crash it back down into the 40s or maybe high 30s. And then it takes off forever. Nope, they didn't even get that much. They got into the 50s, they crashed it back down, and that wasn't even a crash, that was not a correction. They got it back down into the 40s. And now it's back up at 56 something, highest close ever, highest monthly close in recorded history. And we're not done yet. It's not over. This is not the peak. This is the very beginning. And you dorks, if you can do some math, did you see that big cup and handle? Okay, so the big cup, that 44-year cup and handle, okay, you take all of that. And then the little cup, you take all of that. And then you pile them on top of each other. That's how high we're going. And more. See, because it was supposed to take off, but it didn't. They suppressed the price. So it only got back to the top of that cup. Okay, so now you got to do some calculus. It's not just regular, oh man, oh, I'm going to draw a line from here to here. It's actually the volume of the cup. And then we have the smaller cup. And like I said, you pile them on top of each other and you wind up in 4 digits, not 3. I'm the crazy one. But I'm telling you, we're not going to have an orderly market. That's already been shown. The CME, when they saw that it was going to bust out, they shut everything down. 90%, you couldn't trade 90% of commodities for 10 hours in 2025 in a modern market because the servers heated up. Sure, Jan. Okay. Oh, look, somebody wrote something. Hi. Yeah. You make money trading paper, but there's going to be a time when you no can trade the paper. But yeah, SLV, you can make money on a lot of different. Are you kidding? Some of the junior miners, do you see what they did Friday? That one day alone? Okay, I'm not saying don't trade paper, but am saying that if you go in the future, looking out further, there may be a time when you no can trade paper and you may not be able to redeem those because you're going to have a piece of paper. And then you got to trust somebody to take that piece of paper and turn it into something else, like FRNs or actual silver. Like if you got mining shares, you're not expecting silver. But if you got SLV and you buy enough of it, you're supposed to be able to get the silver, right? People are going to find out that, oops, SLV don't have the silver either. None of them, they don't have the silver. What part of they don't have the silver? It's going to be unobtainium. But what part of they don't have the silver don't people understand? Johnny Bravo, yeah, you can sell at a profit. And then you're thinking you're going to get back in until nobody will sell you silver. And then you can't, quote unquote, get back in because you cannot convert your gold or paper or any fucking thing into silver. Unless somebody like maybe wants some farmland, or maybe you have a car that they want, or maybe you have a house that they want, and then you can trade directly. And then I'm listening to the pundits say you're bartering. No, you're actually fucking paying for something for the first time since 19 fucking 64 with money. You're not bartering if you're using gold and silver coins that are made like this is US money. This is American silver. Like trading dimes for food is not barter. You're paying for the food using the most precious commodity, which is silver. It's always been money. 50 fucking languages. Not a few. Just about every language on the planet. The root word for money and silver is the fucking same. Dinero, dinares, yeah, silver. Baht, silver. Right? Do the translations. It's silver because silver is fucking money. Paper is not money. Paper is currency. And people are going to find out the difference the hard way. And Americans are the last on this boat. I can't believe it. Almost every one of my friends that when I was talking about silver, when I was crazy. And I was telling them, buy it at 20. Nope. When it went from 20 to 12, you couldn't get it at 12. But I was like, oh my God, buy it. Nope. That's crazy talk. That's a barbarous relic. Nobody uses silver. Why would you want to get silver? Gold, that's crazy. Now you're going to find out. The financial system is about to change. And gold and silver are going to be money again. And again, using a dime to buy vegetables at the farmer's market, you're not fucking bartering, you're buying vegetables. See, because you're used to bartering. I'm not trading you something for something. I'm trading you money. See, because nobody's paid for a fucking thing in this country since 1964, and Brandon Joe Williams and a few other people have figured out, wait a minute, there's promises to pay and there's orders to pay, and that's all there is. Because there isn't any fucking money, because they stole it all in 1933. They took all the gold, and then they made sure they took all the gold back in 71. They took all the silver in 64. They took the fucking copper in 82. Now they won't even make pennies. Here's a tip from your Uncle Lair. Cost them 3 or 4 times what it takes to make a nickel. And it costs them more to make a nickel. It cost them like 15, I can't remember what, 16, 18 cents or something to make a nickel. So it cost them 18 cents to make a coin that's 5 cents. And by the way, nickels are actual coins. That's the only honest coin left. It's made of nickel and copper. You might want to get a few rolls. Ooh, do I have some? I do not have some. Oh, yes, I do. Right there, handy. You might want to get a few of these. You might want to get $2 worth of nickels. So $10. Get how many rolls? Maybe $20. Get how many rolls? Okay. That's a little tip. I'm serious. Get some. But the one you really want, you know what one you really want? You want silver. You want it in your hands. Or in a storage place that you really, really trust. And I don't really trust too many of the storage places. And then I've been looking at some interesting products out there that you may enjoy, where they store it for you and so on and so forth. But again, what do you get? You get a piece of paper or you get some electronic numbers that say, yeah, well, you got your silver. And you have to trust them. Okay, I don't. I fully do not trust them at all. They are liars and cheaters and stealers. But there are some that actually, what's the word I want? I want, they're honorable. They're on the right team. But many of them aren't. And there's a bunch of these guys that are selling senior silver at ridiculous prices. Like $300 an ounce. No. I got this 1 bar of silver back in the day, a 10-ounce bar, and I remember I paid $17 an ounce because 10 ounces, $170. We're shipping and everything, and I thought, damn, I just got screwed. But I wanted the bar because it was a collector bar. It was a one that has the stamp printed on it. And anyway, I wanted that bar. It was a hand pour. It was, anyway. So I paid. Now, what's that bar worth? $560, and I paid $170 for it. And it wasn't that long ago. I was still living on Maui. I don't remember what year that was, but anyway, whenever silver was right around probably 15, 16 bucks an ounce, and I paid 17 with shipping and everything. And again, yeah, an extra $17, 10 times, right? $10. Anyway, the idea is that 17 bucks doesn't matter anymore, does it? Okay, the difference between if you can get silver at 56 and 60, it probably isn't going to matter. If you could have got it at 55, great. If you could have got it at 50 or 49, better than that. But in the long run, when silver is at four digits, it's not going to matter. And silver is going to four digits. The pundits don't want to sound crazy or talk their book or, pie in the sky. But the idea is that it's going way, way past where it is because there's trillions of FRNs, just FRNs. And again, if these aren't worth anything and you divide them a trillion, that's 1,000 because there's only like a billion ounces. They want to say, oh, there's 30 or 40 billion ounces. Yeah, but you can't get to it. And it's all been destroyed and it's in solar panels and it's in batteries and it's in all kind of places that you can't get. It's in landfills. It's in your TVs. It's in phones. It's in cars. You can't buy it and turn it into something else because it's already in something. It's in jewelry. It's in silverware. But for the most part, it's not in this form. So trying to figure out how much you can't even do that. 5 billion ounces? 4 billion ounces? There might be a billion available ounces. And see, what happens is local pathways. The mines produce silver at a rate that's less than consumption. So all the silver coming out of the ground, which they're dumping in 4 hours into the market, is being used up every year. There is no excess mine supply. Okay, price is going to fix everything, but it's going to take years to fix everything because, as many people have said, I know guys in Idaho. I actually know these guys, sat at their tables, know their wives, petted their dogs. They all got dogs and guns for the most part. And not a damn one of them is going to start producing silver that you can turn into this tomorrow. Even if silver goes to $1,000 in the month of December, I'm not saying it will, but if it did, they still couldn't produce silver in January. It's going to take years for the mines to ramp up. And I know guys that they did say, yeah, I'll leave it in the ground before I take it out for that price. There are some rich silver mines in North Idaho, and there's some people in North Idaho that are about to become mega wealthy, the way they should have been for years. There are miners that had shitty Christmases because of these fucking bankers. And I remember when a couple of those mines closed down. I mean, the guys were sick, but fuck it, he couldn't pull it out of the ground. They couldn't make a profit. They were losing money. Can't pay your guys if you're losing money. So they went home and they got to do something else. And I guarantee you, silver mining pays better than most jobs you're going to get. Most just over brokes. Okay, so I don't feel sorry for these bankers even slightly. And I know some of them want to jump off bridges. They won't, but they ought to. But anyway, the idea is that they sew upside down and they can't get upside down, and they're starting to, yeah, they needed extra money so they could start covering their shorts. And then when they started covering their shorts, the price went up $3.50 in one day. At one point, I was looking at 37 something, 37.07. I think I took a screenshot of that. I think it was 37.10 for a while there. And then they managed to, it pulled back down to 36. Really? Because suddenly there was more silver? Or because there was more people deciding, yeah, I'll sell it that price. Okay. But see, here's the thing. And I'm gonna love hearing from all the diaper face freaks that stood on stickers reeking of hand sanitizer. Oh, I can't wait for my next shot. Oh my god. That fucker over there, he's an asymptomatic carrier, and now he went crash the banking system because his fucker, he went go buy silver. You never take his shots and he went buy silver, that fucker. Could just hear these dumb fucks. They would have stood by while they put us in camps. Okay, so you Christians telling me that I have to have compassion for, I have compassion for them, but I don't feel sorry for them. I don't hang around with them. and I won't give them a good deal. And I'm certainly not selling them my silver for no money. And here's the other thing. We're surrounded by people that are so ugly. There are a lot of them thinking that they're going to take your silver because you're not armed. Okay, well, one, you can't take my silver because you don't know where it is. You can come here and get a little bit, but it won't be worth it because I'm going to try to kill you too. Right? So, yeah. Uh, and same thing with my boys. My boys, I don't even know where my boy Silver is. My youngest boy, I know he got a lot of it. He was actually saying, "Holy crap, Dad," because I was telling him every when he first started working at 16, a couple of years ago, every check put some money in silver, buy some dimes, buy some whatever, right? And then he got on this thing. He got scammed where they were selling him silver at a stupid price for not enough. So anyway, he canceled that, and I think that was Franklin Mint actually, not to be confused with Miles Franklin. Miles Franklin is like the best fucking deal you can get out there. You got to go if you go Miles Franklin, you got to mention somebody like Bix Weir or the guy from SGT or what's her name, Sarah Westall. Anyway, got to mention somebody's name and then say, hey, I want the internet list. I want the email list. And the prices on that, I mean, fucking A, he's selling like coin silver, American coin silver at spot. Yeah, why not? Because he just got a crap ton of it, and I guarantee you he didn't pay $56 for it, or 55, or 54, or 53. So he doesn't need to put a premium on it. But a lot of guys are putting a premium on it, even so. So anyway, Miles Franklin. But the idea is that the Franklin Mint and a couple of these other collectible things with prestigious names, they were selling like 1 ounce of silver for like $300 because it's got a special design on it and it's a limited edition. No, 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 no. Maximum amount of silver for minimum amount of money. That's what you want. Okay, and again, the guy with no shirt on, with the crazy hair, is telling you that these people talking about an orderly market and how it's going to work its way up and so forth, and it might go. Now, it's going parabolic. You won't even know how parabolic it goes because when it goes, they're going to shut down everything and try and tell you that they don't know how much it's worth. But I can tell you that in India and other places, they already had instances where they were charging $70, $128 for 1 ounce. These are rumors. I haven't seen a receipt. But there are going to be guys that are thinking, I got ripped off at 128 because it went back down from 50s into the 40s. Yeah, you're going to find out that that 128 actually was a bad deal, but it's going to look like a good deal in just a few months. Just like I felt like I got ripped off for paying $170 for 10 ounces. And I did. I probably could have got it for $20 cheaper. But that was with shipping to my door. Try and get 10 ounces of silver in any form for $170 now, or $200, or $300, or $400, or even $500. That's how crazy things have gotten. And it's about to get crazier. See, and even at the time, they were saying, oh, okay, yeah, you got ripped off. No, I didn't. I look pretty smart now, don't I? But at the time, okay, and this is the other thing. You're early. You're still early. The thing hasn't piled on yet. Everybody, no, nobody's here. I was super early. But even here, you're looking at doubling and doubling again. And then you're looking at a bull market that's going to last for years, not weeks or months. And yeah, there'll be some pullbacks because there's going to be some people that decide, I bought my however many million ounces, and then they decide to sell it at a certain price, and then that's going to be the price. But that's not going to be the price. That's going to be the price that that person was willing to accept for their silver. That doesn't mean all of us are going to be willing to accept that price for silver, and people are going to find that out. But anyway, the idea is that the market is going to fluctuate, but the trend is parabolic up. It's not going to be a steady, oops, let's go the other way. It's not going to be a steady rise. It's going to be this for a long time. God candle after God candle after God candle. If they're even trading it, most likely they won't even be trading it. Most likely you won't know, and you'll hear about a deal going through or so on, right? But overall, this market is going to seize because they don't have the silver. This is not like any other charting or commodities we can do because we're assuming that there's always going to be corn. There's plenty of corn. There's plenty of wheat. There's plenty of copper. There's plenty of supply. Right? They're not worried about running out of copper tomorrow. we're gonna run out of silver next year. Like there isn't gonna be silver. Like I remember walking around in coin shops in LA in the last squeeze. This was around the turn of the century, 2000, early 2000s, and there was no silver anywhere. I went to one shop and the guy goes, "I got 10 coins because somebody just came in and sold one." But other than that, this is it. This is my entire inventory of silver. I didn't buy any from him because it was too high at the time, and it actually went down from there. But I can remember walking around in LA, one of the larger cities on planet Earth, and no coin shop had an ounce for sale. They had some jewelry and rings, but they did not have coins, bars, none of that. No quote unquote bullion. Okay, that's coming right now, and I haven't called. I need to call. I need to make a few phone calls to the. But the last time I called, yeah, we got plenty of silver coming down. Yep, coin silver. Come get some coin silver. We got lots of coins. Right, we got dimes and halves and quarters. And this is the other thing. Uh, I bought a. I was just looking at a receipt, and it was like in the middle of the night. Poor girl. I woke my girlfriend up because I was looking. Because I just realized, holy crap, those halves are worth $20. I remember buying halves and feeling like I was getting screwed for $5 one. Now they're worth four times as much as when I bought them. And it wasn't that long ago because halves used to be like 5, $6. Now they're $20. Dimes are over $4 now. See, I was doing that thing buy one XRP, buy one dime. Well, so far on the trade, if you bought an equal amount of XRP and an equal amount of silver, the silver is carrying you because the XRP has gone from, I don't know what, $3 down to like, ooh, I can actually look. 220 at the moment. Is that the right price? Refresh. Okay, it says $2.21 as I make this on the Saturday of November 20, what are we, 8 or 9? 29. Okay, yeah, there's only like 2 days left in this month. And then this year's over. Like I said, once Halloween came, the year goes by. So now everybody's still recovering from alcohol and sugar. And then it becomes parties for the next couple of weeks, and then, or 3 weeks, and then it's Christmas, and then it's New Year's, and then, right? It goes like that. It's over. The year's over. Okay. So you're down 80 cents or thereabouts, 79 cents on XRP, but you're up a buck something. Oh, let's look at the silver price. Let's know what the actual, what did they, let's see what Google has to say. Because like I said, it's a fractured market now. Depending on where you look is depending on what they say the price is. They're saying 5708. Really? Okay. So they've got 5708. I saw 5665. Who knows? I guess there's a difference between spot and futures. I don't know. Anyway, it's not 5708, but this is what I'm seeing. But anyway, the idea being is that at 5708, one dime, let's find out, is worth how much? I'll read these off. And let's see here. The melt values of silver. And see, I was amazed that the Barber half dollars are $20.40. The Walking Liberty half dollars, 2042. Franklin half dollars, 2042. Kennedy half dollars, 2042. Okay. Those are the ones that are 90% silver. So the quarters are now worth $10 and 21 cents, right? Half of that. The dimes are worth $4.06. Mercury dimes and Roosevelt dimes are worth $4. So they've gone from when they were both basically about $3 to now the Roosevelt dime is $4 and the XRP is 220. So on the trade, if you put the same amount into both ones, the silver is carrying you and you are still positive by a long shot. But it would have been better to put it all into silver than to have XRP be the lagger. But the reason why I like XRP is because the story is similar to silver, wherein they seem to be running out of the commodity, the coin, on the exchanges. There's still billions of them, but there's not going to be billions forever, and they're running out. People are actually buying them because these ETFs and so forth. So they're going to get to the point where you can't do it. Yep. It tried to. That's funny as hell. Hey, Gretchen, how you doing? Everybody. Hope everybody had a great and wondrous Thanksgiving. And oh man, is it going to be a Merry Christmas? Because I'm telling you, silver is going to go a whole lot higher than it is now. And again, everybody, all these people saying, oh, you could sell it and then buy back in, sell it and buy back in. No, you're not going to be able to buy back in. You'll be able to sell it, and then you're going to find that nobody wants to sell it back to you. Not yet. We're not there yet, but it's getting there. And you're going to find in the future that some of them might want to sell you silver, but they don't have any. Will you take a paper promise? We'll get it to you in a couple of weeks. We'll get it to you next month. I'm not buying that kind of silver. I want it in my hand because I don't trust you. And not so much that I don't trust you, I don't trust the markets. I don't trust your ability to get some in a month. That's why we got backwardation going on, because there's a lot of people that it's just a little bit now. It's just a few cents. But pretty soon the backwardation is going to be huge. Or no, I want it now. I don't want it in a month. And see, it's supposed to be the other way around because you got to store it. You got to guard it. You got it right. So it's supposed to cost you more in a month because time value money and so forth. Nope, nope, nope. People want their silver now, and they don't trust you to deliver it. And one more time, this is, I opened the three. This is 360 pieces of paper for every one of these. They say 358. I happen to just open it at 3. That's the pile of paper that's piled up against one of these. So let's say, so that's 360 times the demand. Let's say half of those people don't want to settle in paper and they actually want silver. Are they going to want to pay more for it to get the silver, to get the precious metal? How much more? We don't know. That's called price discovery. But your piece of paper is a piece of paper. It's not silver. And many people have figured that out in the last, I don't know, 72 hours. And most of them still not Americans. Americans still haven't figured this out. Americans still, oh, I got a treasury bond. I bought a treasury bond. I bought a crypto. I like the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin good. Man, am I going to be able to tell you so. Oh, and by the way, the XRP, I just bought a little teeny tiny bit of XRP. I didn't buy like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of XRP. I just bought a little bit just to see. Because I know what's going on in silver. But see, the story is similar. Like I said, they're saying, oh, they're going to run out of, the exchanges are going to run out of it eventually because these ETFs are going to suck it all up. Well, with silver, this has already happened. China and India already pretty much sucked it all up, and now they're standing for delivery. And the bankers are saying they're breaking the market because they want to have us deliver the stuff that they bought. Yeah, they bought it, they paid for it, you sold it to them at a stupid price, and now you have to deliver. Well, we weren't supposed to deliver. We were going to roll the contracts over. Yeah, well, they didn't roll the contracts over. They would like the silver, please. So, like I said, we don't even know what happens. All I can do is some math for you, and I can tell you it's trillions and trillions and trillions that are going to be chasing billions. And that's not happening immediately. That's not happening Monday. There's only billions going to be chasing billions because the trillions haven't figured it out yet. But they are. It's like a contagion. It's like a wave. It's slowly but surely entering the consciousness. All of my friends and all of my followers, I've been telling them about silver for so long that they're probably not paying attention until now, and they notice, oh, oops, didn't Crouton Ramon say something about that a couple months ago or a couple years ago? I had one friend living in his fucking house telling him to buy silver. He wouldn't do it. Bought beer, didn't buy silver. Bought all kind of contraptions, didn't buy silver. Oh, that was the thing I was going to say. This is not investment advice, although I used to be a financial planner, certified. I used to have Series 663, used to be responsible for broker dealers because I had a series, what was that, 26, I believe at the time. I believe it's 21 now. Anyway, I was a principal. They've changed all those licenses around since I quit back in the 90s. But I'm telling you, don't buy your family and friends shitty, stupid plastic Christmas. Don't buy them any Christmas presents. In fact, send Christmas cards so that you just put that thing on there that says you ain't getting shit this year because I know you're a dumbass and I'm buying silver, and in the future you're going to come to me because you did not buy silver, right? What are you going to do? You're going to turn your back on your friends? They're hungry. You're not going to feed them. Is that how that's going to work? And you think because you got a gun, you're going to go over to somebody else's house and take their food or take their silver? That's not how any of this works. And some of you may try to get away with that, but you're not going to get away with it for long before you get shot. If that scenario plays out. But anyway, the point being is that don't, if you got an extra card, sell it. If you've got, that kid you don't like, sell him too, or her. Actually, that's a joke. You can't do that. But there was a time when people would sell their money, or sell their children for money, or sell their sons and daughters for anyway, and they'd know what was going to happen to their daughter, and they did it anyway. Oh my God. Anyway, don't do that. But if you got a car, you might want to get rid of the cat. Anything that you can convert, and then don't. If you're going to go into debt for Christmas, no. Go into debt and buy silver. That's really bad advice. But don't spend your money on shit, is what I'm saying. Food and silver. Food in your closet is good as money in the bank. Is actually better than money in the bank. I have relatives. See, this is the thing. I'm old. I don't look that old, but I'm old. And so I'm old enough to have had talked to people who lived through the Great Depression and could tell me stories about what it was like in the Great Depression. You want to have food. Okay, and then you want to have a way to filter water just in case. And then you want to because there's a lot of things that can happen. See, I'm predicting financial crisis personally. I don't think this is going to go well. This is not going to end well. Silver is, especially when you understand the revenge that Chinese are trying to take on the Western bankers. They want the system to crash. They want us to suffer. Right? Not so bad that it kills them, but the Western bankers in London and COMEX are bitter enemies of the Chinese because of the Opium Wars. They haven't forgotten, and nobody's factoring this in. And then the greatest thing I just saw recently is that the Chinese leased the LBMA silver so that the silver at the LBMA could be delivered to the Chinese who leased them the silver in the first place. And now those leases are going to come due in January. This is insanity. So they're still Ponzi scheme. They're still working things around, and there's no silver. They need about 200 million ounces, and they got about 50 million ounces, depending on who you talk to and what numbers you look at. And it's fluid, right? Because there's going to be more people standing for delivery as time goes by, not less. And there's going to be less silver as more people stand for delivery. And I think the bankers may have figured out, fuck, we better stop selling silver down here at this ridiculous price. Because, yeah, the Indians and the Chinese are like, yeah, we'll take all you got. Take a look at the record inflows of how much India bought. Were they not counting on that? I didn't think the Indians were buying it. How about the Chinese? How about the Russians? How about the Brazilians? How about the South Africans? How about all them Arabs in Dubai with their millions and millions of dollars? And there's like crazy, filthy, ridiculous Chinese people I know that are buying silver on a pallet. Right? Pallets getting delivered. Or they're taking delivery and then putting it in other places because they're not smart enough they're not putting it in their McMansion in Vancouver. But they're buying it like $1 million at a time, 500,000 at a time, $100,000 of silver at once. And if they could buy more, they probably would. I don't know of anybody so far that I've talked to that said that they tried to order silver and whoever it was couldn't deliver. In other words, they ordered as much as they wanted, or as much as they allocated, and supposedly the silver is on its way. Okay, this is the thing, and all of those people, no, they're not buying futures and taking delivery in a month. They want it now because they understand in a month it might not be here. Johnny Bravo apparently doesn't understand this simple concept that you can sell your silver today and not be able to buy it back because there isn't any. It's just like people I know in Hawaii. I remember more than once, but I remember one time in particular walking into Foodland in Pukalani again. Nothing. There was some yucky produce around the edges, but I mean nothing. Nothing in the store. Liquor, expensive liquor was left. Liquor and beer, maybe. But I mean, all the shelves. You walked down the aisles, nothing on the shelves. Didn't matter if you had, didn't matter if you had silver. They wouldn't take silver in the first place. But anyway, it didn't matter if you had paper. Didn't matter if you had credit cards with lots of balance. Didn't matter if you had a debit card linked to a bank account with $1 million in it. There was nothing to buy in the store. This is coming. And we're going to find out, well, when it gets to that point, who's going to sell at what price? We'll find out. We don't know at the moment. I know a lot of people that are saying, I ain't selling my silver for less than, and the numbers are crazy. Okay, we'll see. I'm just sitting back enjoying the ride. Like I said, most of my silver I bought way too early. I missed many opportunities because that money could have been working elsewhere. Money doesn't like to sit. But anyway, it sat in a box and it sat in the ground and it sat in a couple other places. And now that $5 is worth, well, 11 times, and it's going to go 12, and then it's going to be 13, then it's going to be 20. I'm going to have 25, 30, 50. I may have 100 baggers. We'll see. $500 silver, I absolutely see it. $1,000 silver, absolutely I see it. It's a long ways off, but it's not that far off. And like I said, we can now see it from here. How many times are they going to close the market? And how are they going to try and make it so that you can only sell? They did this before with the Hunt brothers. You couldn't even go long. You could only sell your contracts. Okay, cool. Um, if you can only sell them, are you going to sell them at whatever the bankers offer you? You're going to sit there and hold your contracts until somebody makes you an offer you can't refuse. And I bet you that offer you can't refuse is in 4 digits. Let's find out together. Anyway, Sunday night, tomorrow night, be looking and seeing what kind of fuckery, right? Because I was up in the morning and I was like, wait a minute, the CME is closed? That must be a mistake. Type, 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 type. Nope, it's closed. Oh, cooling error. Ooh, what? 10 hours they were closed. 10 hours. No could trade nothing. Okay, they're going to do it again and again. They're going to do whatever they can to keep you from discovering what the actual price of silver is. But see, we are at end times. All the lies are being made plain. They have lied and gotten away with stealing and cheating for 4 decades. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows these fuckers absolutely broke all the rules. They're naked shorting. They were like, oh yeah, okay, well, they brought the price down. Instead of these fuckers need to go to jail. We need to have sound money, sound weights and measures. But everybody just takes it up the ass. And now they're taking it up the ass to the point where they've taken it up the ass for so long that they can't figure out that this is about to become an obtainium. Because apparently they can't do the math when it comes to trillions chasing billions. And it's not only just trillions, it's hundreds of trillions chasing a few billions. Give them the benefit of a doubt. We'll call it the benefit of the doubt, $5. Or excuse me, 5 billion ounces. 5 billion ounces divided into how many hundreds of trillions? And see, it's not all going there. And that's the thing. Just a percentage is still multiple tens and maybe even hundreds of trillions of dollars when you talk about all the trillions of FRN fiat. And then there's ruble fiat, and then there's rupee fiat, and then there's RMB fiat, and then there's Brazilian real fiat, and then there's fiat in there's fiat. And some of that fiat's going to be looking for silver. All right. See, I managed to keep it pretty much on one topic. Silver. Get some. All right, 100 Monkey out. Take it easy, Crane Stoppers. Educate self, educate others, and check out Cortana Ramon's House of Math for more.